Hey, ladies, thank you for tuning in to
Uncommon
Women. I'm Shanera.
I'm Kate.
And I'm Jenny Lee.
So, today we're actually going to be talking about goals. We're going to hit on why goals are so important, how to stay organized, and ways to stop procrastinating.
So, ladies, where would you aim? Why would you aim there? And what would the purpose be? Pew! Check this out. Imagine having to shoot an arrow without being given a target, and you did aim at something random out of sheer perplexity. What would happen? It's pointless and basically a waste of time, of energy, and effort if you don't have a focus. You can have all the potential in the world, but without focus, your abilities and talents are useless.
That's facts.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, your goals are what give you direction in life.
Yeah, it's basically like your first step of becoming an adult and your life journey. So, Jenny, why are goals important?
Goes around because it provides direction, like Kate says. It leads you where you need to go. Like she says, where you got to aim. When you want to aim for that, that's what you want to aim for.
I agree. It gives you like an accomplishment on something. It definitely gives you control over your life, you know. You're not just living life day to day, but you actually have a focus and some type of direction of where you want to go in life.
Right. It gives you a focus, a target, a route for motivation, inspiration that you have ever felt your entire life is goal. Setting goals provides you a foundation for your drive. By making a goal, you give yourself a concrete endpoint to aim for and get excited about. Zig Ziglar says if you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time.
That's good. Motivation. I love motivation because what happens is when you focus on ways to change your life and you actually achieve it, you got to celebrate it. You know, you want to throw yourself a party because you completed something on your list. And that's one step closer to making other goals and completing it.
Yes, that same motivation just like pushes you. It pushes you to make one goal, to start another goal, and it just keep going and don't stop either.
Yeah, and you can reward yourself. I mean, part of the goal setting process is keeping track of your process because there has to be a fixed endpoint or a benchmark to compare with. That way you feel excited about completing something or getting progress towards something.
Yeah, and you actually, you have to have clarity in decision making. Why is it important for you to have a specific goal? What is the reasoning to making goals or what you have on your list? Is it because of your children? Is it because of your family? Is it because something that you went through when you were younger? I know at times when I were growing up, sometimes we had to heat the house up with the oven. So I planned goals to better my life as an adult now. Like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to manage my money this way or put my money in a savings account so that I have it for my bills, so that I'll be able to take care of the things I need, and that can be goal managing as well.
Yeah, one of my life goals, if I can share with you, is just creating. I have two big ones that after I had my son when I was 19, I set these as goals. The two big ones was finishing my degree and creating a stable environment for my son, and I strive for that stable environment. But a big goal for me was when I was in college when I found out that I was pregnant, and I struggled to maintain staying in college and having the baby. That after I get to the point where I couldn't do both, I made the goal that I would go back and finish my degree. So I attended 4 different universities to get there and lost all these credits in transferring. I graduated high school in '07. I went to college for 2 years and then dropped out. I attempted to go back to another college for a semester, and it was too much to manage. So, with having a son, being a single parent, so I dropped out of college again. And then in 2011, somewhere around there, I told myself, I'm going to go back to school and I will take 1, 2, 3 classes, but as long as I'm going, it's one class that I'm putting in my pocket, getting closer to my degree. So I have no shame stating that yes, it took me 9 years to get my bachelor's degree, and 4 of those years I went part-time, because at the end of the day, it was a goal. It was something that I wanted to succeed in, and now my degree hangs on my wall in my dining room, and it's something that I can look at and know I worked really hard for it. I stayed up. I sacrificed going out with my friends. I sacrificed time with my son. I sacrificed so much just to reach this goal, and I didn't give up. And I'm proud to say, yeah, it took me a long time to get there, but I got there. So it's very rewarding to feel that.
Oh, and I relate to your situation. As as you guys know, I've been going to school to get my GED. I went last year, in the beginning of the year of 2017, and I stopped going due to financial problems that I was having. And then towards the end of 2017, I went back and I made it a point and told myself I'm going to take at least one test. I finally did it December of 2017. I passed one of the subjects. Then the new year came. Things happen in life, like Kate was saying, her being a single mom, things, arise. Some things that we can't always control. But I ended up taking another test and I passed it. So I got to a point where, I wanted to do this on my own because I didn't want to go back to the GED classes. But then when I kind of realized at one point I couldn't do this on my own, and I had a goal set because I have 2 more subjects left to pass. And believe me, I went back. I'm still attending classes now, and that's my goal, is to finish. It doesn't matter if I have to be in school for another year or a couple months down the road. Even though I still have these 2, subjects left, don't stop. Even though, this is my goal, is to get this GED, because it's going to be life-changing. The same way Kate took 9 years, it can probably take me another 5 years just to get my GED.
But we get there.
But we will get there. You will get there. Also, I want to explain for my reason why I didn't get my high school diploma. I was young. I was 16. I was on my own. I didn't have any guidance. I had no one pushing me. I didn't have no support. I ended up having my child when I finally wanted to go back to school. But having my child, which he was born, prematurely, that was something that I had no control over. But then being at home, seeing your boyfriend's sister graduating, because I was supposed to graduate, we're supposed to graduate together, helping her get dressed with her cap and gown. Do you know how that made me feel? It made me feel like a failure. But then having my child, I tried to go back to school plenty of times, but I didn't have the support, or I was still naive. Oh, I don't need an education. But I went to school to get my CNA there, but it still wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough. Just because I had a career and I was, something I could lean on, but it still wasn't enough. I'm still working extra harder. I realized not having an education, especially now that I'm 36 years old and getting my GED. Something that I wish that I could have done when I was younger. But sometimes it happens. You're a single mother. It's hard. It's either you don't have the mindset for it, you're not going down the right path, you just don't have the support, or anything from anyone. And sometimes it has to take it on yourself to push yourself, to motivate yourself, and to focus on what, like Shanera says, especially when it comes to decision making, that is very important, because certain things that you don't do as you're young can affect life decisions later in your life. I'm 36 years old and I'm getting my GED now. I'm just saying age shouldn't matter to accomplish certain things. Look at Kate, like she mentioned, she got her what was it, your bachelor's for 9 years. It was hard. It is, and believe me, it is hard. But you know what? Keep that goal and keep motivating yourself and keep putting yourself, because we all can do it. We all capable of doing and making sure we keep them goals. Goals are very important.
You touched on something very good, Jenny. I definitely agree with you about decision making. I believe that for the teens that are listening, if you're in school, no matter, I didn't like school, but I finished, you know. I didn't agree with some of the things that we were talked about in school, but I knew that I would need that in the long run. So if you're in school, just try to focus, you know, make the best of it. Don't be worried about, you know, boys and what everyone else is doing. Try to focus and at least finish high school. And if college is for you, go for it. Do not give up. Go for it. I think we have to remind ourselves that everyone is on a different pace in life, and your life is not going to look like someone else's. So if it takes you longer or if you stayed back in school, it's okay. Because at the end of the day, you're still going and you're still going to for your accomplishment, for nobody else. You're going for yourself. You're not going for anyone else. And I think it's very important to stay true to who you are. Stay true to who you are.
And I agree with that, Shanara, but I also want to put up there for like the single mothers that have teenagers. You know, as we mothers, like you guys know, I have a 14-year-old, and sometimes they're at that age where they're in high school and they lack motivation, they lack this. But as parents, we have to push them. We have to support them in whatever they want to do, to make sure that, okay, they want to finish high school, but they go through so much pressure, lack of motivation. They don't want to do nothing, especially now, the generation now that they're lazy. You know, I mean, there are regulations. This generation,
Think everything's handed out to them.
Exactly, they're entitled. But you know, the single mothers that work hard and gone through a lot, we as the single mothers have to push our children, especially around that age. Because I have my son is 17. He's in his last year of school, and I push him. I'm like, you know, you're about to be 18. You know, with that, he gotta learn to drive. He has to get his driver's license. He has to get a job. You know, we as parents also gotta show them life decisions as well, and make sure like they fulfill these goals, because it's important for them being young as well.
And I think it's with baby steps, you know. You don't want to just throw everything on the child when they're in high school. I believe it starts when they're in preschool. You know, I teach my son the ways of life and he's in elementary. We set goals, not just for January when everyone got their New Year resolutions. We go by birth dates. I set my goals on my birthday, and he sets his goals on his birthday. We go by the year that you were born. What goals do you want to accomplish next year before you turn, he's 10, before you turn 11? So it starts when they're children. It does not start when they're in high school, because what happens is you take baby steps into them being children, and then it will be accustomed to them as they're an adult.
Right. You're laying the blueprint now on behaviors, on how to act when they're older. That's everything. That's even to the fact that you fold your laundry now, or even you make your kid make the bed.
Right. Yep.
I think in reference to why setting goals are important is you have to hold yourself accountable to finish the task, as well as what Jenny was highlighting so powerfully is that you cannot get distracted. You have to stay locked in. It is a mental boundary that you have to create for yourself. When you have a certain endpoint that you automatically want to go to, your mind will go everywhere else, and you'll have so many external factors that will come in and try and distract you and take you away from the goal. Even it could happen subtly or unconsciously. It happens automatically. It's going to happen. So you just need to stay locked in and get not distracted.
So I'm going to introduce 3 types of goals. Time goals are the ones we refer to as short-term or long-term.
Right. So short term can be anywhere between, 3 months or 6 months, even 1 year as a short term goal, versus like a long term goal could be 3 to 5 years planning out. So Katie, what are your short term goals?
So short term, I want to buy a car. I want to unpack the boxes in my basement for me moving 2 years ago.
2 years.
I
We need to talk about that on procrastination.
and I need to cut my grass. That goal tends to show up over and over and over
Until
again.
wintertime.
And once I achieve it, I'm like, yes, woman power. Whew.
So Jenny, how about you?
My short-term goal is to clean my car when it needs to be cleaned.
You can add me on that too.
I think that's the worst. It's like, I'm like, I put it off too much. But then it's been raining, so we can't really,
But
see,
No, we had a nice couple of days last week.
oh no, but my car got washed today, which is the crazy thing, but I didn't do it though. But I was still procrastinating because the inside still needs to get cleaned out. So it's probably not gonna get done.
What about you, Shanera?
Short-term goals. I think going to bed on time definitely needs to happen. I am fussing everybody out in the morning, and it's because I wanted to stay up watching TV. So I think, managing my time definitely has to be one of my short-term and possibly long-term goals, especially having to be up in the morning, staying organized as well. I typically have like an agenda taken care of as far as organization, but my house needs to be clean on a daily basis. So yeah, I think, being organized would be one of my short-term goals as well.
What about long term?
Long term, yeah, about that. So my birthday is on the 29th of September, and I completed all my 5-year goals. So right now I'm just brainstorming in regards to what are my long-term goals going to be. I'm at peace right now. I'm really at peace. I finished everything, so I'm kind of like, where do I go from here? I love a man, but right now I'm focused on other things, so I'm not going to add that to my list. Maybe my side list. Can we have a side long? I don't know, but let's focus. All right, let's go back to long-term goals. So, yeah, I would like to be a wife, but we're going to have to sit and have some quiet time with God on that one. How about you?
I wanna retire in a treehouse. That's my long-term goal.
Elaborate.
So I'm into this real big thing on Airbnb right now, searching for tree houses that you can rent, and I fell in love with this one in New York. And
is it literally a tree house?
It's a tree house. Yeah, but it has electric and stuff.
But why?
And you can take a night for $350 a night.
Is it sturdy?
Yeah, I would hope that they're renting out.
Yeah, because I don't want to be stepping on something.
Right? That's what I don't know about that.
But that's my goal. I want to retire like in the woods. In this treehouse is so beautiful. You has this open bay window that you can look out and you can watch all the seasons pass by.
Aww.
When I'm retired, I'm not gonna want to like leave the house every day, and I'm just gonna want to enjoy nature and creation and animals and changes of seasons, and that's my long-term goal.
That's good.
To live in a treehouse that has electric.
I do eventually want to have a beach house. I mean, no time soon, but I do want to add that on. I've always wanted to do that as well.
My long-term goals is to get my GED, further my education, and even if I have to, go to school for something else, disability, definitely keep working on my credit, buy a home one day, and retire, and just enjoy my life, marry too one day, and just to that point where, I don't have to worry about money either. Mm-hmm. Even if I'm sitting at home and my retirement laying there, having a cup of wine, and just like, by a click on the computer, bloop, there you go, and I gotta worry about money. And just everything is just, my kids are grown, had grandbabies,
Making
So,
cookies for the grandbaby.
yes. No, definitely. So, our second is focus goals. Is the goal that drives the majority of decisions.
So for me, I think focus goals are what you value and what you find value in, and that's how it's going to dictate to your decision making. For me, my focus is providing a stable environment for my son that's loving, caring, that he feels secure in, that he can trust, that he's waking up in the same bed every night. He knows where the milk is in the refrigerator, and just overall having that security in him. That's my focus goal.
Yeah, I think we have the same focus goal. Mine's is definitely security. I want to be able to provide for my family financially. I want to be able to be the support that my child needs. I want to be able to plant these seeds in his head so that he'll be able to have goals as well. And I just want him to appreciate life, not just live it to live it, but appreciate life and, be able to pass that on to his children as well. So I definitely agree with you in regards to security and stability. And I want to add financial as well.
So do I. I agree with basically the same thing you guys said. Yeah, definitely. It's like a focus goal. So, number 3, topic-based goals can be personal, professional, career, and financial.
So my professional goal is to obtain all my financial planning licenses. And I basically just want to live off of residual income, dividend income, capital gains, and that's the goal.
That's good. I want to live off residual as well. I want to be able to work for myself, not have to work for anyone else. I want to have a plan that, sets the generations after me for my family. I want to travel. My goal is to actually travel and to be a motivational speaker for women. I want to be able to, I love to travel, so I want to be able to travel around the world and just to love on people, and to speak to women and to bring them the awareness of loving yourself and to value yourself as a human being.
I agree. I'm a little bit there where I want to travel. I want to do a lot of volunteer work, speak life into others, and that's something personal. That I've done a lot of volunteering work as a child, and I loved it. I love interacting with others. I love, especially now, spreading the gospel and and showing women, telling women and showing women like, hey, I've been through this, and just spreading it out. And that's my personal. My professional is really working on my careers in my life and being financially stable.
Okay, ladies, so let's go into ways to or steps to help with goals. So, the first thing you want to think about is what do you want to achieve? Make sure it's something that you can actually accomplish. Try to be realistic in regards to your goals. Define the term. So, for example, don't just say, oh, I want to be happy. Okay, well, break it down, elaborate to yourself why you want to be happy. What does happiness mean to you? If you want to be healthier, what steps do you have to take with being healthy? If you want to be, I don't know, if you want to be more loving, what does love mean to you? So try to define your goal rather than just listing it.
I love that because you want to set that target. You want to set that vision, that focus on what it is that you're getting to, List the different steps of how you're going to get there, the progress you have to take to get there. You're not going to eat the whole elephant in one chunk. It's going to take those baby steps to get there. And that's also going to help you feel like you're making momentum. It's going to give you the reassurance that you can do it. It's an emotional benefit saying, hey, I accomplished a little bit. Jenny mentioned about that one test of her GED. That probably put a lot of fire under your kettle to continue taking another test. Until you're finally going to get there. And you will get there. And you will get to your goals. And you will accomplish your goals. But you need to put into detail what and how you're going to get there. That way you can track your success and celebrate when it's complete.
Shanara, when you had mentioned about being happy, I think when people say I'm just happy, I want to be happy, I think that is really vague. I think when this is where you set your goals. Like, you have to be very concrete. You have to be very detailed, and you have to be very specific on what makes you happy. You can't just be, I want to be happy because of this. No, you have to be specific. What makes you happy? What is your motivation? What is your focus? Going to the gym, if that makes you happy, hey, like Shanara says, be healthy. You have to be very, very specific, concrete, and detailed about it. You can't just say, I want to be happy. You can be happy for a whole bunch of things. I can be happy because the sun came up today.
Yeah, adding detail is very important. And if it's not about emotions, think about activities. Like, okay, well, I want to be a musician. I love music. All right, well, let's add details to that. What type of music do you want to do? Do you want instruments in the music? Are you going to write music? Like, you have to try to have some type of detail with your goals. Do you want to do music by yourself? Do you want to have a band? Like, just try to add some detail in regards to when you're making goals. So the next thing I want to talk about is commitment. Follow up with what you put on your goals. You have to stay committed into it. You don't want to just write something and then 3 months, oh, well, I had that as my goal, but you didn't take the necessary steps to further complete those goals. You have to be focused on it and plan it out regularly so that you can actually accomplish it in the long run.
Okay, Shanara, that kind of like brings me where you have to hold your goals accountable for failure. If you don't write them down and give yourself a timeline for each achievement, how can you look back and just reevaluate your path when you fail?
And don't beat yourself up if you do fail, because you probably will fail, or you probably won't meet the time frame that you had placed in yourself. Sometimes you are your worst critic, and it's okay to fail. It's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to take a break. Just if you value that goal that you had set for yourself, and that's your goal, that's not living by somebody else's goals or your parents' goals or your friends' goals or your spouse's goals. That's your goals, because if it's not attached to your heart, then you're not going to drive for it. You're not going to strive for it. You're not going to go for it because you don't find any value in that. So, and sometimes when you put so much value in something and you fail, you beat yourself up. It's gonna be okay. Give yourself a moment to regroup and refocus. Stay committed.
Yeah, it's okay to revisit. It has to be something that is important to you, like she said. So don't put something when you're writing your list out, don't just put something on your list because someone else accomplished that. Put something on your list that means something to you. And later down the line, when you're checking off the things on your list and you're, making a plan in regards to completing that goal, if that's not something realistic, it's okay to revisit it and take it off. Be realistic with yourself. Don't put on your goal that you want to be a millionaire in 3 weeks and you don't have any type of financial steps to get you there. Be realistic.
That's so true. Once I met this one friend. where he had no education to back him up other than a high school diploma, and he was applying for these random jobs to get 70,000 a year, 80,000 a year, applying for jobs that he didn't have the desired qualities or the minimum expectations. He just thought, qualifications. He just thought that, I'm the bomb.com. I'm going to apply for that. And I would look at him and be like, you are kidding me. But, I didn't want to squash his zeal. So he ended up applying for these jobs, got the sorry, no thank you letter, and started at the bottom. He started at a different position, and now, since he's been working so good in his job, now he's making decent money. He's not making 70 or 80K a year, but he's making decent money. But I just thought that was a little unpractical.
Well, started from the bottom, now we're here. At least he started somewhere, though. So you got to give it to him.
Yeah, and I agree with you. There's those, I've known people to do that where, they're like, well, I'm going to apply for this job, but you really don't have the qualifications for that. That's why you have to go to school. That's why you have to put that as your goal, to get that education. That's why people go to college, so that you can see fit and have them qualifications to get the job.
Right.
Yeah, be realistic. Be realistic. So the next step, I think, is we're speaking to the people that are in relationships, If you have some goals, maybe talk it upon your partner about your goals. Hey, this is what I'm deciding to put on my list, or this is what I'm passionate about, or this is something that's been on my heart, and see how they feel about it. Don't let nobody shut you down with your goals, though. If it's realistic and it's something that's passionate that you have in your heart, go for it. Do not listen to what other people say. But if you're in a relationship, it would be good for you to talk to your partner and be able to communicate with them in regards to when you're making your list for your goals.
I think that's definitely healthy. You want to have open communication in your relationship. You want similar goals, or if your goals are separate, you want that other person to know about the goals so they can be your support system behind you or back you. I remember when I was with my son's father, one of my goals was going back to school, and he would say, yeah, I'll support you, but he didn't have my back when it was time for me to attend class. He wasn't there to babysit. So it's really important that you have that support system and that you communicate with your significant other on your goals so you can help achieve each other's goals in life.
Yes, and I agree with that, because like you said, it's healthy. Now, if you don't have where somebody's meeting you, you're doing 50 and the other one's meeting you 25, it doesn't work that way, because or it could be where the other person wants you to support their goals and everything that they want to do, but you have your goals, but they're not supporting you.
No balance.
Yeah, there's no balance at all.
And you got to be careful that, like when you're in a relationship, that you're not fully consumed in the other person's goals, dreams,
Yes.
desires.
You lose yourself.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Because guess what? If they walk away, or God forbid they pass away, we all die. We're all going there, right? You're going to be lost. That's why you find people who have been in these long-term relationships and the spouse dies. They're just unbalanced. They don't know how to live. They, like people say, like when you get divorced, you were running for so long together, your goals were so similar that when you separate, there's a separation. You don't know who you are. So it's important that you have relationship goals together, but you have your individual
Identity
goals.
Very important. Very important. You guys got to be on the same page, but you also have to have your own identity as well. You made a good point, Kate. I also think setting a timeline is very important. Like I spoke about earlier, baby steps, Don't just always focus on the long term, but focus on some short-term goals to be able to get to the long term. So you can think about, okay, well, in 3 months, I want to have this much money saved up. So in a year, I can take this vacation. So you have to pre-plan with your short-term goals in order to get to your long-term goals, and track the process. You can track the process with a calendar, deadlines, journals, There's even apps out there where you can actually track your process in regards to goals. It's very important to look back. Hey, oh, this is how much I accomplished in 6 months. I'm so proud of myself. Always compliment yourself in the process of your goals as well. That's very important.
Yes, or like for instance, like me, I have my goals on my wall in my bedroom.
That's good.
On my wall, like I look at that every day, and I have a whole bunch. I'm saying I don't have them down. I don't have them down on a timeline, but I have them like written all over this, on the wall on a piece of paper, obviously. So, and then I just look at them because that gives me motivation. Just by the word itself, just by the word looking at it, I'm gonna get that. I don't care how long it takes me to get it. I'm gonna get that. Just me looking at that motivates me. That keeps me my focus. That keeps me aiming for what I want. Yeah, sometimes I get discouraged, just like everybody else. It is. That's why we have to start small.
So, to sum up goals, you have to set a goal, make a plan, get to work. Don't just talk about the goal. Get to work on the goal. Stick to it. If it's not something that you can stick to, revise it. It's okay to revise your goals. And then that will get you to reaching your goals. So, let's go back into get to work. Procrastination. Ladies, let's talk about procrastination.
Piers Steele says procrastination is to voluntarily delay an intended course of action despite expecting to be worse off for the delay. It's doing more pleasurable things in place of less pleasurable things. The end result is that more important tasks are put off at a later time. At its core, procrastination is an avoidance strategy. Procrastination creators choose to do something else instead of doing what they need to do because it's easier to choose pleasure over pain. There are 5 different types of procrastinators. As I'm giving you this information, take a self-evaluation. See which traits that you self-identify with. The first type of procrastinator is the perfectionist. Being perfect is the pleasure that perfectionists wants, but often this leads to them being too scared to show any imperfections. Because of this, they frequently fail to complete things. As they're forever seeking the perfect timing or perfect approach, tasks end up never being completed because in their eyes of the perfectionist, things are never perfect enough. Instead of finishing something, perfectionists get caught up in never-ending cycles of additions, edits, and deletions.
Oh my God, I gotta fix this paper. I rewrote it 3 times and it's still not perfect. My grammar on this side is not matching up with this side. Listen, you do not have to be perfect in everything. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be spending so much time trying to fix something that you're not getting anything else done. Work people. It's okay to multitask, but how long is it taking you to try to complete 5 things when you can start one project, complete it, and then move on to the next one? Because what happens is you're trying to multitask, doing everything, and in the long run, you didn't accomplish anything because you're still working on project 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it's the end of the day. Finish one task and then go into the other one.
All right, another type of procrastinator is the chicken. Chickens lack the ability to prioritize their work. They do what they feel like they should do rather than thinking through what they really need to do. Prioritizing tasks is a step that takes extra time, so chicken will feel that it's not worth it. Because of this, they'll usually end up doing a lot of effortless tasks that don't contribute much to a project. They're incessantly busy on low-impact tasks, but seem oblivious to the urgent, high-impact tasks. Who knows a chicken who has so focused on something that's so frivolous, and in your mind, you're like, why are you even wasting your time? Third kind of procrastinator is a daredevil. Daredevils believe that deadlines can push them to do better. Instead of having a schedule to complete their work, they prefer to enjoy time doing their own thing before the deadline comes around. It's most likely an unconscious thing, but daredevils evidently believe that starting early will sacrifice their time for pleasure. This is reinforced in their minds and feelings by the many times they manage to get away with the burning the midnight oil. Often they sacrifice the quality of the work because of rushing it.
That's good.
You ever hear those people who say, I do better under pressure? They're more likely a daredevil. The fourth one is self-sabotage. A self-sabotage have brought into the line that by doing nothing, bad things won't happen. In reality, self-sabotagers have developed a fear of making mistakes or doing something wrong. Their way to avoid these mishaps is to do nothing at all. In the end, they make few mistakes, but they also see few accomplished. They're not risk takers. They don't want to move by faith. They want to move by sight. They want to move with guaranteed results so they can feel the reward, but they're not willing to take the risk.
So would that be someone that be like, oh, I'm so busy. I have to do this. I got to do that. Got to do that. And then at the end of the day, they don't get anything done.
I think these type of people are not willing to take the risk. So they're not going to put their toes in the water. Yeah. The fifth kind is an ostrich. Ostriches prefer to stay in the dreaming stage. They live outside the parameters of reality. That way they don't have to work for real or deal with any negativity or stress. Dreaming, living in fantasy land, gives this type of people a false sense of achievement, as in their minds they envision big, ambitious plans. Unfortunately for them, these plans will most likely stay as dreams, and they never accomplish anything truly worthwhile.
Yeah, I know a lot of them.
That's called the ostrich.
I definitely agree. I know too many of those.
That's so true. Those are like the people that be like, wow, I want to do that one day, or I wish I could do that one day, but don't set any type of goals of completing it or steps to what they want to do. They just talk about it all the time, but don't do it.
Have you ever heard like the term, it's a pipe dream?
No, I never heard that. What's that about?
A pipe dream is an idea that's totally out of reach. Actually, Urban Dictionary had said that it comes...
Urban Dictionary,
Yeah. They always can keep it real when it comes to defining, the slang. They say it's an idea that came from you smoking too much methamphetamine, opium, or haddish. So I guess that's true because, when you're high or whatever. I don't know if you know, but...
yeah, I know. BC, before Christ.
It's those dreams or goals that you make that are like totally out in the left field, and you usually fantasize them. It's not my treehouse dream, okay? I don't own a treehouse, but it's one of those crazy pipe dreams that you're like, yeah, unattainable.
Okay.
Comes from smoking the pipe.
Oh, I gotta go one. That reminds me of the movie Mary Jane. When the guy's sitting there. I'm sorry, I know.
Mary Jane.
I think it's a movie. It's like this dude. And
Mary Jane on Netflix?
No, what's that?
There's this guy.
Mary Jane.
It's a movie where the guy is smoking. And he calls it Mary Jane. He actually meets a girl, Mary Jane, in the movie.
I haven't
it's
seen
an
that.
old movie, type of stuff that I don't watch it.
I know that's
So
before my time.
and he's funny, like, oh my gosh, that he's like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that, like you said, pipe dreams. But it was hilarious. You would have to like actually watch the movie.
Go check out the movie, and that's what you don't want to do. All right, ladies, so we're going to give you some symptoms in regards to procrastination.
So procrastination may be symptomatic of a psychological disorder. Procrastination has been limited to a number of negative associations, like chronic procrastination. Chronic procrastination grows so prevalent that it becomes a personal trait. Its severity is said to be chronic. Many individuals who consider themselves chronic procrastinators are usually suffering from an underlying mental health problem such as depression of attention deficit, ADD. It also is procrastination can also be a fear. A number of fears contribute to procrastination, including but not limited: fear that you will fail or do badly, fear of the uncomfortable or easy to do things we're comfortable with, but doing new things is uncomfortable, so we put it off.
That's a good point. Don't let fear get in the way of your goals. Don't let people dictating what you can and cannot do get in the way of your goals. You have to be focused in what you set your mind to. And like it goes back to being realistic, but don't let fear get in the way. Just and it's okay if you mess up. It's okay. Try it all right. So if you trying to set a goal and you have steps to get to the goal and the first step you can't complete it, try the brainstorm in regards to something else, a different route to complete it. But don't let the fear take over your full goal.
Oh, yes, that's very true. Also, we have it also affects the brain. The brain protects us against possible negative feelings. The norepinephrine chemical takes over, causing increased levels of fear anxiety. This often defeats the reasonable part of our brain, which takes 3 whole seconds to engage. This is why the amygdala often wins. In other words, it also the neurological disorders such as ADHD is also found in procrastination also.
I didn't know that. Thank you.
So, ladies, you're one of these 5 procrastinators: the perfectionist, the ostrich, the self-sabotager, the daredevil, or the chicken. How do you overcome being one of those and get to your goals?
So I think it starts with admitting that you're a procrastinator. You can't expect yourself to get over being a procrastinator if you don't think that you have an issue. It's an issue. So you have to be able first to admit that you have a problem. Focus on starting rather than finishing, you know?
Face what triggers you and get rid of them, whether it's fear of failure, overwhelming feelings, avoidance, or convincing yourself you're just too busy to get something done. You can improve your ability to be productive by eliminating your procrastination triggers.
Yeah, you got to overcome those mental blocks, Try to stop thinking about it rather than actually doing it.
Get out of your head.
Break down a long project down into short tasks.
That's true because the human brain isn't designed to work continuously on the same task, and this could be a reason for procrastination. Make sure you take regular, structured breaks away from the task so that you can come back refreshed, ready, and be more productive. A break as short as 5 minutes is enough to keep your mind sharp and wards off fatigues. I usually like to call them brain breaks at work. If I'm thinking too hard, let's go on a brain break.
I do that. I'll stand up or even stretch, because I work at an office job, and I'll take a bathroom and just, sometimes when I'm studying with my son and he's getting frustrated from being in school all day and then coming home doing homework, I'm like, let's take a break. Let's give your brain a little break. Let's do something besides what you're doing. We'll do an activity or we'll eat dinner or something, and then come back to it, revisit the issue so that you're looking at it clear. You're not looking at it from your first perspective. So I think breaks are very important.
Yeah, it's like you said, take some directed action. Make it fun even if you have to. Because you don't want to finish the task. You get bored. Like Shanira said, her son is in school all day. He's coming home to do more work. And, you got to take that time. Or even when you go back to the task, make it fun. Just make it enjoyable that you're able to finish the task.
And you want to go back. I think it's ironic what you said you do at home because teachers actually do that in school. They do brain breaks. When I was student teaching, they would do a YouTube video where the kids would stand up and do little exercises in the classroom. At my job, I wear my Apple Watch, and it tells me that I haven't stood up. So it goes ding ding, and then it says time to stand up. So then I
can't
stand
afford
up.
those, but go ahead.
Goals. Make a plan. Maybe you can reward yourself once you accomplish something, because it's important to acknowledge and reward your process in goal setting. That helps you avoid the procrastination with the small task. Gives you that sense of motivation we talked about earlier. Releases those feel good, productive emotions that spur you on to achieve more. Dave Ramsey talks about gazelle intensity as you focus on something, and once you get there, you feel this great reward.
That's good. That's good.
Or even save time by asking for help.
Yeah,
Especially when
don't
you're
be prideful.
Yes. I know. I sometimes want to do something and I want to do it by myself, and you get prideful where you don't want nobody's help. That's from being independent. But sometimes you have to save that time and get someone to help you.
Yeah, sometimes I know I second guess myself as working at work, and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to ask nobody. I should know this. But sometimes it's just best to ask so that you can move on to the next task rather than wasting time trying to figure it out or look for it.
Yeah, time is important. Ways to avoid procrastination is to track your time.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your hours and minutes accountable. It'll help you identify when you fall into habits of procrastination. Perhaps they're in the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, or the end of the day. It also helps you from coming back and having a clear idea where you spend your time. You can review how productive you are and know which areas to improve. Now, it's not easy to keep track of time. I know there's an app that you can keep track of time. There's an app that you can keep track of time of how much your kid plays on PlayStation. And if your kid is on PlayStation for more than an hour, it would shut down. There's also one that Apple runs that, and Google does as well.
Comcast does it as well. They do it. They can monitor their television time. I know I can do it on devices that they have. You can shut off the internet with Comcast. Oh, Xfinity. My bad. I do not own rights
From
to
your
Xfinity.
app.
Yeah, you can do it from your phone. You can actually set the time. Like you can first you'll have accounts basically, and then you can, if you have children, you'll set the children's TV or phone or whatever devices they have under their account. So if it's time for bed and you don't want them actually sneaking on the TV while you're in your room or you're downstairs doing what you're doing, you can disable those devices, and it will come up on the screen bedtime. So yeah, that's what we do in my house. But those are very important.
Yeah, I think kids have a hard time with obtaining the notion of what time is. 1 hour to them is like 1 minute.
Mm-hmm. Especially playing the game or girl talk or whatever else kids do on their free time.
Yeah, that's very true. I agree with that, because if you have to like put that it's kind of like structured. Make sure they have that structure. Yeah. Also, I have another one where to do things when you're most alert and efficient, where you're upbeat and you're in a good mood. You can't do things when you're tired and you're feeling lazy. You're not going to want to do anything because you're already procrastinating as it is. And you're just like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. You're going to do that. Then you'll end up doing it the next day. You're just going to keep pulling it off and pulling it off and pulling it off. And that's how you get really lazy and just procrastinate even more.
Yeah, you gotta know when your peak hours are. Like, I have friends who are night owls. They do all their chores, grocery shopping, gym at the night.
Me.
You won't find me. I'm the grandmom. I'm in at 9. My brain stops working at 9. You want to have an intellectual conversation after 9 o'clock. I am like a zombie. My brain is fresh in the morning, and I get all my chores done in the morning.
That's true. That's true. I think I perform better when it's a good time for me. I am a night person, so she's talking about me when you go to the gym at night and cleaning my house and doing all that, because in the morning, everybody knows at my job, do not talk to me until 10 o'clock. I am not a morning person. I don't drink coffee. I'm not going to drink no energy drinks. I'm just high off of life, and just talk to me at 10 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, I think performance is very good. It has to be when it's on your time.
And yep, it is, because I'm not really a morning person, but I like getting things done during the day, because that way when the evening comes, I'm settled at home. Or sometimes, like, for instance, like, Shanera, you go to the gym like at night. I like going to the gym in the evening because that's like my downtime. And, I go to school twice there in a week. So, like, I like to get things done. Even after I get out of work, I like to get certain things done, eat my dinner, then go to class, come home, and just, like, take a shower and relax so I can get to bed on time. Which I don't
having
have.
that schedule helps you eliminate procrastination.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
So let's go into some ways to be organized. There's a couple of different ways into how to organize yourself. I have broken down ways with life, work, and school. So for our listeners that are going to school, don't wait last minute to finish an assignment or the night before. Try to pre-organize, and that's with anything. People that have to work or life in general, try to put your clothes out the night before. Try to get yourself more in a structured environment at home the night before so that you'll be prepared for the day of. Work, try to get enough sleep, something I have to work on. Make an effort not to multitask. Back and forth takes time, like we said before. And organize your time. Prioritize what's important when you're working. And what's needs to be completed first when you're working, rather than just trying to do everything at the same time.
Yeah, staying organized also really keeps you from being stressed. Because like some of us can't work under pressure. Some of us can't. There's like, for instance, there's college students that they end up on they're drinking constantly coffee and they're on medications just to stay awake. That it could be stressful, but by staying organized, that can reduce a lot of your stress.
Yeah, you want to work hard. Put in the effort. Delegate what you can delegate in your house to stay organized. Don't overfill yourself with responsibilities or meetings or deadlines. That can cause added stress, like Jenny was talking about. Declutter your home regularly. Find time each week to organize. Highly organized people make sure they find time every week or more to organize their things. Stuff does not stay organized on its own. It needs to be reorganized continuously and consistently. As an experiment, I encourage you to look at your schedule and find a time to organize and then do it. Give everything in your house a home. It's easy to get lost if you don't have a home. If you have an apartment, do the same thing. Keeping your life organized means keeping the things in their proper places. Your toothbrush does not belong in the refrigerator, and your shoes belong in a closet, not in my living room floor. Make it easy to access storage spaces. That's going to help you stay organized. Label stuff. That's going to help the community that you live in, whether it's a family setting or you got roommates, to try and stay organized. And only keep what you need. If you have more stuff, that's more clutter. People who live organized lives only keep what they need and what they really want. Having fewer things also mean that you enjoy those things more and feel better about using everything you own rather than letting half of what you own collect dust. Go through your closet, see what kind of stuff you haven't worn in a while, and then donate it. Write down actually the number of things you need, like how many pairs of shoes do you need? How many pairs of booties do you need? Who has flip-flops in every color? Like the Old Navy sale.
What is wrong with that? I'm still organized. I have a lot of shoes.
What I'm saying is the Old Navy flip-flop sale, and they go on sale every year. Exactly, thank you. Stay away from bargains. That's how people get so much clutter in your house. I remember when I purchased my home, one wise man.
That's why you still got boxes in the basement.
A wise man told me that when you get a home, you create so much clutter, and it's true.
That's
when
true.
I moved out of my apartment, I just got a handful of boxes, and I had to go back for more boxes. I'm like, where did all this stuff come from? Just, with bargains, instead of bargain shopping, plan. Write down exactly what you need and buy those items. Only buy them when you need them. Try this experiment. Go to a shopping mall with no money. Just look at the things on sale that you wish you could buy. If you had brought your wallet or purse, if you find nothing, then good for you. If you made a list, then keep that list somewhere and look at it a month from now. If you still want it, then it's safe to buy. That'd probably help all our listeners who are impulse buyers.
Yeah, and don't overspend and then expect to rely on credit cards. Try to manage your money. They have apps out there for money managing. It's an app called Quicken or Mint that you can actually use to manage your money. So don't overspend and be the person that has a whole bunch of stuff that you don't necessarily need. Try to be organized with your money as well.
Yes, and I agree with that because when you have clutter, you have all this extra stuff, you have nowhere to fit, where to go. So it's just, and then that's time consuming to go through all this stuff, out of your day. Maybe you have other things that you have to get done, but you trying to get this done at the same time.
It's true. Now, ladies, let me ask you this. Do you know someone that remembers every birthday and sends a card for every holiday?
Somebody's grandmom does.
How do you think you accomplish that? I mean, right now I'm so reliant on Facebook reminding me that it's so-and-so's birthday.
Oh, yeah, so me
That's
too.
so true.
It's not magic to remember these people's birthday, and it's not memorization. You have so many loved ones that you encounter, and it's usually memorization is related to a certain emotional attachment, and that's how people memorize. So write things down. Try to remember things that are important. Other stuff, just write it down. Use a pen and paper. It's our way of remembering things externally, and it's more permanent. You can also use a computer or a smartphone. I know I use my iPhone in my notes section. That way you can uncomplicate your life when you go to the store and you walk into Target for something specific and you walk out with 10 different items in your hand that you had no anticipation of buying, but somehow you walked out with them.
My son gets me on that all the time. Mom, I thought we only came in here for one thing.
Me too. Why you gotta go to this department? You gotta go to this department. You gotta go to this department. You gotta go to... I have my loop, okay? I have my Target loop.
Yeah, that was something that I was doing, but what I started doing exactly what Kate was talking about, just writing things down.
Make a list.
Make a list. When I started doing this, I go through my stuff. I go through, if I need soap, I go look in my little, my little drawer and be like, hey, I need some more. I write that down, or if I go in my cabinets, I go in there and I check on what I need or what I need for the week. And that kind of helps me so that I don't have to spend extra money on certain things that I necessarily don't need. Even though probably I'll buy one thing, even though I'm not supposed to, but I always find a use for something for some reason. But that's how I've learned to just write things down or just, I think it's better that way because you just you scratch it off each thing that you have and you be especially when for instance, especially when you're when you're budgeting, you have to write that down hey, I'm going to spend $30 on these few items, which we already know how many times you go out and buy that same item. You should already know how much it costs. So at the same time, you can write down what you need and then your item, budget as well.
Or you can check on Amazon for prices so you'll have an idea. Or Walmart.com to have an idea. I think how many times do you get home and you're like, man, I forgot to buy the body wash.
Make a list.
Or the loofah. Now you got to wash your body with your hands.
So ladies, I hope you enjoyed today's topic, focusing on goals and getting us out of the funk of procrastinating. As always, I would like to leave you guys on a quote. I actually have 2 quotes today. The first quote I wanted to focus on, it says, "Great things never come from a comfort zone." So just remember that as you're setting your goals and you're trying to accomplish things on your list. The other one I wanted to hit by Vic Braden. He says, "The moment of enlightenment is when a person's dreams of possibilities become images of probabilities." So thank you, ladies, for tuning in to Uncommon Women. And ladies,
stay uncommon.